Guess what time of year it is? It's time to set some goals. That's not a song. I made that up. It's that time of year. This is the time of year where we're all going to be thinking about the things we'd like to do differently. We've got this sense of renewal because it's a new year, new me. And I thought, what a great opportunity for us to set some goals for us and our dogs this New Year's. Doesn't that sound amazing? It's not resolutions. We're not doing New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions don't work. Right. There's some really like sad statistics on resolutions. Like, I think the most popular thing in January is the gym because everybody's like, I'm going to get fit this year. And then by January 15th, that's like reduced by 1/3. By February, it's like half the people are there. By March, you don't even remember where your gym shoes are. You know what I'm saying? Like, resolutions aren't it. We need to come up with some good goals. I like to also kind of frame it around dreams. Like, let's talk about what are the things that we want to do. And as I mentioned in a previous episode, I think setting goals for our journey with our dog is a good idea. I think we have to be flexible, right? Yeah, I think we have to be flexible. You've heard me say this before. Take the time it takes, so eventually it takes less time because dogs are living, breathing, sentient beings, and sometimes they're going to throw us some curveballs. But it's good to have an idea of where we want to go, right? Many dog owners struggle with this because they're thinking about the things they don't want. I don't want my dog to do this, to jump on people. I don't want my dog to pull on the leash. I don't want my dog to be reactive. I don't want. But you're not telling me what you do want. And it's so, we can't create goals about the things we don't want. We need to think about the things we do want and how are we going to get there? That's what we're talking about today. Let's get into it. Ready to have a calm and peaceful life with your dog without the stress of those fear-based behaviors? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I've been there, overwhelmed by all the conflicting dog training advice and unsure of what to do next. But now I help dog lovers like you simplify your life with your dog by building confidence naturally, fostering trust, and addressing those fear-based challenges. So, if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners and let's get to it. Well, hello there, my friend. It's Tracy. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. If you don't have a pad of paper or a notebook or something, I encourage you to go get that because I really want you to take this goal setting session, this dream session, whatever you want to call it. I want you to take it seriously. I see big changes for you, my friend, in the future, and we are going to get down to it. We're going to get down to it here on the podcast. Listen, if you haven't had a chance before we get started, if you haven't had a chance to go over to the new website, could you do that for me? Could you go over to the new website? Paisley and I have been working hard on that website, beyondobedience.ca. Don't do .com, it's .ca. Go to beyondobedience.ca and just check it out. Just check it out. Just look at the pretty pictures. Check it out. If you haven't signed up for the newsletter, do that. Be a pen pals with me. That's important. Let's get that done and out of the way for the new year so that we're all set up to do this thing. Let's do this thing in the new year. Go check it out. Also, let me know if the links aren't working. Let me know. I'm not technical. I'm really good at dogs and not much else, if I'm being honest. So when people ask me to do my own website, I'm like, I'll try it. I don't know how it will turn out. Anyway, that's what I want you to do first and foremost. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this idea of creating what we want instead of trying to avoid what we don't want. And there is a big difference there. I have told this story before. I don't know if it was on the podcast or not, so I'll tell it again. But there is something to be said about the power of what we want, the power of, thinking about what it is that we want versus thinking about the things we don't want. And this was an exercise that was made perfectly clear to me one day when I was at a horse event. And it was a really cool, I wish I had filmed it. That's how cool this event was. But essentially, let me break it down for you. Um, there was a horse there. And this was just about horsemanship and all the sorts of stuff, right? So we weren't riding the horses, but there was a horse there. We were all standing around. And she was talking about this idea of having knowing what we want and projecting that as we move out onto our day. And she brought out this horse, and she said to us, first and foremost, she said, this horse is a little bit of a butthead. He will pull you off the trail to go get grass. Like, he is relentless when it comes to getting and snacking on grass. And so we were like, okay. And he's like, so she said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to walk him down the path and see if you can prevent him from eating the grass. Don't let him eat the grass. So, people put their hands up and volunteered, and the first person went, took the lead, started walking the horse, and sure enough, this horse beelined it, like almost flung this. The first person was like probably 100 pounds soaking wet, so she went woo, right off to the side, and he starts eating. She's like, there you go. She ends up bringing the horse back. She says, anyone else want to try? So of course people are like, I'm going to try. About 3 or 4 people tried. Even this big burly guy, he tried. He was like, I'm going to do it. Now the horse immediately had a harder time pulling that guy off the trail, but he eventually got him off the trail. He got him off the trail, and he started eating grass. And she said, all right, I need another volunteer. And by then we were like, I'm not doing it. I didn't even volunteer. I'm not going to lie. But someone was like, okay, I'll do it. And she said, okay, now here's what I want you to do. She said, I want you to think about walking down the trail, right? Picture walking down the trail. You're just walking down the trail. I just want you to put it in your head. Just walk down the trail. And I want, even if you have to say, just walk down the trail. So long story short, she takes the reins. She starts walking. The horse starts to veer off, and she just sort of kept going. And lo and behold, the horse walked down the path instead of pulling her off her feet. It was the most amazing, powerful demonstration I've ever seen. And there was a part of me that was like, is this for real? Is she just really good? This is her horse. I'm like, there's a trick to this. There's got to be a trick to this. But the funny thing is she finished doing her talk. We talked about a whole bunch of other things. And the horse was just kind of there. We ended up moving over onto the lawn so the horse could eat the grass. We didn't want to fight with the horse anymore. But eventually, she was like, we're going to take a break. And I was like, I walked up to her and I'm like, can I try walking the horse? I didn't want to do it in front of everybody because I didn't want to be that person. But I'm like, can I try walking the horse? And she's like, yeah. She said, you don't believe it, do you? And I'm like, no. She's like, all right, well, put it in your head that you're going to walk down the path. And sure enough, I walked down the path with this horse. And I was like, this is bananas. This is bananas. Anyway, the whole idea of it was this idea that when we picture in our mind, don't eat the grass. When we picture that in our mind, we see a horse eating the grass. We imagine the horse eating the grass, right? And because our energy and our intent, and animals feed off of our energy intent. Now, listen, I'm not woo-woo here. I'm a little woo-woo. I shouldn't say that. I'm a little woo-woo. Okay. But I'm not going to go full woo-woo here, because there are some people that will tell you that animals read the pictures in our mind. I'm not sure I'm all in on that. But here's what I do know. Animals are reading your energy and your intent. They read intent. They read it better than anything else. And intent is the things that you're thinking about. I often tell people the intent is the words you say in your head, but it comes out as an expression on your face, right? That's what intent is. And animals read that, right? That's they're innately in tune to that. So when the first group of people that tried walking the horse, they were actually thinking about the horse eating the grass. Even though their mind was saying, don't eat the grass, their mind would picture the horse eating the grass. Try it right now. right? You can try it right now. Don't think of a pink elephant. You're thinking of a pink elephant. Stop thinking about that pink elephant, right? You can't help it. You can't think in the negative. Your brain will always picture the thing you're asking it not to think about. So when we switch the perspective of, instead of thinking about like, don't let the horse eat the grass, you thought about, let's walk down the path, the horse walked down the path. Now, I know many of you that are struggling with your dog walking, you're going to be like, that's all I have to do is just go be walk down the road. It might be, probably not, because your dogs have some habitual things there. But my point is that when we're talking about goals, we can't think about the things that we don't want. I don't want the dog to bark at the fence. I don't want the dog to pull me on the leash. I don't want the dog to react to other dogs. We can't think about these things. We have to actually think about what we want them to do. And then we need to take that one step further, because a lot of us are going to go with the absolute what we don't want them to do, and our dog might not be able to do that, so we might need to break it down. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So first and foremost, the very first thing that you've got your piece of paper out, the very first thing that I want you to do is I want you to pick a word. I think I mentioned this a few episodes back. My word, well, at least for the end of this year, I might switch it because if it's still working for me, but my word is simplify. I'm trying to simplify my life. In particular, I'm trying to simplify my business. That's where it started from. I really want to make it simpler for people to connect with me. If you want to work with me, I want to make that simple for you. That kind of a thing. So I'm trying to simplify everything. Everything got so crazy and chaotic for me for so long. Nothing was working. So simplify is my word. So I've written that down at the top of my page, simplify. But maybe your word is something else. Maybe your word is peaceful. That's a great word. Maybe your word is calm or trust. Maybe you're like, trust is a good word. Whatever that word is, I'm not here to tell you what that word should be. I'm just telling you, think of what is your word? What is the thing that you want to work on? Like the word of the year. That's where we're going to start. Okay. So once you've had a chance to write that down, think about it. If you don't know, like offhand, you're like, oh, this is too hard. You can skip it. Just leave a space, word of the year, word of the month, word of whatever you want to make it. Put it there. All right. Now, we're going to start off with the big goal. Right? There's probably one big goal, one overarching goal that you want. And maybe it's something like, you can go this big if you want to. I want my dog to be less afraid of everything. I want my dog to be less reactive to everything. Like whatever. You can make it a big goal. But I want my dog to be blank. I would like my dog to be something. Fill in the blanks, whatever that happens to be for you. More confident, more comfortable, less fearful, whatever. Right? Although we just finished talking about don't say less fearful. What do you want your dog to be? Not what you want your dog to not be. Right? I caught myself there again. So it's not that I don't want my dog to be fearful. I want my dog to be brave. I want my dog to feel safe. Whatever that is. Let's come up with that. So write that down. What does that look like for the dog? Right? And we're going to start off big because that's going to be our overarching thing. Our overarching thing is safety. Our overarching thing is bravery. Our overarching thing is calm, or whatever it is. Okay, pick that up. Start there. And then we're going to break that down just a little bit more into what would be a manageable milestone, right? Because we want to ensure that that we have progress and we're feeling like we're getting somewhere, right? The biggest thing is we need to see some sort of progress. So we may need to break it down a little bit. Right? It can't just be, I want my dog to be calm all the time. Where do we want it to be calm? Let's break it down so we know and we can set smaller goals. I want my dog to be calm when I feed them. I want my dog to be calm when we get ready to go out. I want my dog to be calm while on the walk, right? And just break down like when, like all those little things, because what that's going to force you to do, it's going to actually force you to kind of figure out, where is my dog not calm? Like if calm is the goal, where is my dog not calm? Well, my dog's not calm when I feed them. Okay, well, maybe we should be starting there. My dog's not calm when I come home from work. Maybe we should start there. Um, whatever it is, but I want you to start, you take that big thing and we're going to break it down. What are the areas that we're seeing that? Because how you do one thing is usually how you do everything. This is a saying that's sort of in, the personal development field. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And we can extrapolate that down for our dog. How our dog handles one thing is probably how they handle all the things. So quite often, if you're working on a goal that's really hard, like I want my dog to be calm when walking past other dogs, that's a big, hard ask. But we could check the other areas where our dog isn't calm and be like, how can I help my dog be calm in those areas? Because if I can't help my dog be calm in the privacy of my own home while I'm feeding, while I'm doing whatever, if I can't do that, how do I expect him to be calm out there? How am I going to expect him to be or do that thing when there's lots of distractions? So by breaking down all of the areas where your dog is struggling, that's going to allow you to find touch points to where we can actually work on these, so we can start to see those changes, the things that we need to change. Okay. So, and that could be a number of things. Maybe it's only one or two things. Maybe you're sitting there going, I don't know if there's any other ways. My dog's really great at home. I'm sure you can probably find something. How we do one thing is how we do all things. And that's the same for your dogs. There's going to be a place where his mind is getting, or her mind is getting excited over something that is more controllable for you, or where you can influence your dog a little bit more. Okay. So once you've sort of broken all of that down, this is the fun part, my friend. This is the fun part, my friend. We're going to call this, part one is what do I want to do, right? What do I want for my dog to do? And part two is going to be the part what is a little bit more challenging. It's the who do I need to be in order to achieve that? Who do I need to be in order to achieve that? Because if you've been following me for a while, you know that we're talking about us. This always starts off as something that sometimes people really are resistant to. But if you really fully embrace this right here, you're going to find it very empowering, because this is where we get to change how we show up for our dog. What does my dog need from me in order to achieve this? How do I need to show up for my dog? For example, does my dog need me to have more patience? Does my dog need me to be more consistent? Do I need to be more calm so that my dog can be calm? Because we know that our dogs are mirroring off of our emotions and our energies, right? One of the hardest things for us to do is try to calm down a dog when you're frustrated with them. See how well that goes. It doesn't. It doesn't. Right? So this is where we're really going to start to really start to embrace the entire package here. And this is where you'll start to see the biggest change and the biggest development, is when you start to figure out, who do I need to be in order for my dog to be successful, right? We can tie this into your leadership style and the value list, some concepts in the Fearful Dog Fearless framework. I talk a lot about that, this idea of, and there's an episode on leadership and leadership style. If you missed that episode, you can go back and listen to that. But maybe draw from that value list on the leadership style. Who do I need to be to show up to allow my dog the best chances of success at these goals? Because putting it all on the dog is going to make it a little bit more challenging. putting a little bit of that onus on you. How do I need to show up to be? What do I need to be for this dog, for them to totally flourish and to rock this goal? Who do I need to be? Am I using the positive picture in my brain or a negative picture? Am I walking through life thinking about all the things I don't want the dog to do instead of thinking about all the things the dog should do or can do? And how can I show up to help them do that? That's where you're going to have the greatest change. Whew, that's fun. That's fun. Sometimes people are resistant to that, but if you really embrace this, you can embrace this. As my mentor, Nelson, would say, we need to learn how to, don't try to control the dog. Control yourself and influence the dog. You can be and should be, and chances are you are the greatest influence in your dog's life. Let me say that again. You can be, you should be, and chances are you are the greatest influence in your dog's life. Which means if your dog is struggling with some things, there's a good chance there's a part of you that's influencing that. So by changing our mindset, by coming in with who do I need to be to allow my dog to achieve this goal, you have a much greater success of it actually, a greater chance of success of this actually being something that works when we focus on who do I need to be to allow my dog to be the greatest version of himself or herself. So there you go. All right, that's the goal setting. Let me know how you do. If you want to share your goal setting experience inside the Fearful Dog community, you want to be a part and join an incredible community of people that are working on these things every single day, sharing our wins and our struggles. Be sure to check out the Fearful Dog Fearless Framework by coming to beyondobedience.ca/fearless. Join the community. We would love to have you and see you there. If you want to share with us your goal setting workshop notes inside the free Facebook group, please do that as well over at Facebook, Living Beyond Obedience. That's that group there. Either way, share your goals, share that, declare it. That's the best way to do it. Share it and declare it. And it will happen and it will be there. And if you want someone to help you with that journey, come on over to the Fearful Dog. Come on over to the Fearful Dog. The water's warm over here. Come on over. We'd love to have you. All right. I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me for this workshop, this goal setting workshop. As always, get out there today, my friend, and be the person that your dog thinks you are, because your dog thinks that you're amazing. And so do I. Have a great day, and I will see you later. Bye for now. Oh, and one more thing. This podcast is meant for entertainment and education purposes only and is not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you are really struggling with your dog, be sure to reach out to a professional in your area. All right, I think that's it. Bye for now.